There's a new hero in Marvel Champions, and the Iceman cometh. No, that's bad. That's not bad. We can't say that, right? No, let's. All right, we'll do something better. All right, everyone, allow me to break the ice. That was equally as bad. All right. We'll get this time. Okay. All right, everyone, chill. With this new hero, I think the game is chilled to perfection. With the new hero announcement, I think we can kick some ice. What killed Marvel Champions? The Ice Age. That doesn't even make sense. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Oh, okay. Let's just do this how we normally do. Oh, hey everyone, welcome to D20 Woodworking. We're going to do a hero preview today for Marvel Champions. There was a lot of speculation on who this first hero would be, and it's someone that we should have really expected. I think we did mostly expect this hero, and that is Iceman has now been announced for Marvel Champions. So we're going to talk a little bit about the announcement. We're going to go through some of the cards, and then I'm going to give my final thoughts. All right, so here is the announcement page, chilling out. Chilling out would have been all right. I could have used that one too, but oh well, here we are. Okay, so they have the Iceman announcement, and it talks about how here comes the coolest hero on the team. That would have been a good one too. I should have used that. A founding member of the X-Men and team's prankster, Bobby Drake, discovered his mutant powers to generate cold and manipulate ice as a young teen. He joined Xavier's school, X gonna give it to you, to escape persecution in his hometown, and now he fights to protect others as the hot-headed Iceman. That one's not as good. That one's not as good. Okay, so Fantasy Flight Games has announced the Iceman Hero Pack. It comes with a bunch of cards and whatnot. They do their usual spiel, whatever. So we're not going to look at any of this stuff. So we're first going to start with, it's no surprise that the hero Iceman would have a winnery set of powers, and Bobby Drake does not disappoint. So let's look at Bobby Drake. He's a 6 hand size, 11 hit points, which is nice to see. I feel like we don't see a ton of 11 hit point heroes. There we go. I can talk. So that's pretty decent. 4 recovery is not bad. Bobby Drake begins the game with 6 frostbite upgrades set aside. We don't know what this is yet, but it is important to note that there are 6 of them. After you change to this form, shuffle 1 ice card from your discard pile into your deck for each copy of frostbite in the play. So depending on how you do this, might be really good and really beneficial, but we don't really know. Okay, we'll get in frostbite in a second. So at the beginning of the game, Bobby sets aside 6 frostbite cards. These are null upgrade cost cards. They are permanent. An attached enemy gets -1 scheme, -1 attack. It's a conditioned ice card. You're going to notice the ice because there's going to be a lot of ice trait things. So force response, after attached enemy activates or leaves play, set this card aside. Now, the important thing to note here is that this card does not state like max 1 per the enemy. So we don't know how to put this on yet, but theoretically, if you could put like 6 of these onto the villain, they're going to be a -6 villain, right? Which is going to be awesome. So after enemy activates play, set this card aside, which is pretty cool, right? So it doesn't cancel the activation or anything like that. I saw some things on Reddit where people were thinking that some of this stuff might cancel or take place. No. Still activates like normal, just a little weaker, and then this card gets set back aside. Then as Iceman, he can use his innate ability Freeze to attach those upgrades to the enemies he attacks or defends against, lowering their scheme and attack stats. So Iceman is a 1/2/2 stat line, which isn't bad. 5 hand size he drops down to, which makes sense. When Iceman makes a basic attack or defense against an enemy, attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy. Okay, that's simple enough. Now we're going to look for ways to ready up Iceman probably, but at least it's a very simple way to at least get 1 on each time. This does hurt thwarting though, and this is going to be a thing you're going to see in his deck a lot, is that he doesn't have a lot of ways to remove threat. So just important note with that. So by combining Iceman's freeze ability with cards like Frozen Solid, Ice Wall, and Arctic Attack, he can completely lock down even the toughest foes for the next activation, allowing his allies to focus on more pressing threats while the foes are stopped in cold. So Frozen Solid, 3 cost upgrade. It's again ice condition, hero form only, attached to an enemy, max 1 per enemy, which makes me wonder if there's gonna be 2 of these, but we'll see, I guess. When attached enemy would activate, discard Frozen or Frozen Solid instead, then attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the enemy. Not bad, right? It's no, what's the Spider-Man card? Webbed Up. I think Webbed Up is better in a way. Not completely. Depends if you're going against a steady or stalwart villain, but if you're not, Webbed Up's probably better, but Webbed Up is 4 costs, if I remember. So 3 costs, not bad, and it's a nice, easy-ish way to put a -1 card onto an enemy, and then if you attack or defend, you can do another one, right? So that's that one. Then there's Ice Wall, right? That was that. Oh yeah, that's right. This website loads slow. Ice Wall is a 4-cost support. Kind of expensive. When an identity would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, place that damage here instead. Then if there is at least 8 damage here, discard this card and attach the set aside copy of Frostbite to the enemy that just attacked. Now, one of the things I meant to pull this up too was Phoenix. Phoenix has something similar to this with Telekinetic Shield, right? Somewhat similar. Here's the thing with this, it's a 2-cost upgrade. You attach to any friendly character. When the attached character would take damage from enemy attack, place the damage here, then if at least 5, you discard it, right? So this is 4 for 8 versus 2 for 5, right? So it's a little bit weaker, but you do get to put the set aside copy of Frostbite on the enemy, so that's a little bit helpful, but it is a very expensive card for what it is, in my opinion. It's very, very expensive. And then Arctic Attack, 2-cost event, attack ice superpower. Deal 4 damage to enemy and attach a set aside Frostbite to it, or you can deal 6 damage to enemy with Frostbite already attached. So if you swung for 2, right, you could do this for 2 for 6, and then you're kind of working up your way up to 8 damage at that point. Let's see. So in a pinch, he can even unleash an Ice Blast to freeze and damage a bunch of enemies at once. So a 3-cost event, Ice Superpower. Choose a player. Attach a set aside copy of Frostbite to the villain. Each minion engaged with that player. Deal 3 damage to each enemy with a copy of Frostbite attached. Yeah, okay, this is good for like minion slaying, and if you're doing that type of build, it's pretty interesting. And this leads to, we'll get into a second, that he's an aggression type build, and you can kind of see why. I really thought he was going to be protection, mainly because that's what his ally was that came out already, was a protection ally, so I thought they were going to go that route, but obviously it's very very geared toward taking out minions, at least that card is. With his trusty power belt, didn't know he had one. I don't know much about X-Men, but I'm not gonna lie, didn't know he had one. Helping him pay for his powerful ice cards, this hero is well equipped for even the most heated battles. That's not a good one either. You gotta stay on the cold theme, in my opinion. Okay, so Power Belt is a 2-cost upgrade. Item tech, it's one of the few things that aren't ice that we know of. You get plus 3 hit points, which is pretty dope for a 2-cost upgrade. Exhaust Power Belt, generate an ice generate a wild resource for an ice card, which is pretty good. I think everything we've seen, I don't know why did I just miss like a ton of things? Oh yeah, I did just miss a ton of things. That would be helpful if I didn't skip that whole paragraph. But I think Iceman is ice, condition ice. I mean, okay, so Cryptonetic Perception, 2-cost upgrade. After you resolve your freeze ability, exhaust this card, draw 1 card. If that card has an ice trait, ready Iceman, which can be really useful. So you're going to want to run 40 card decks most likely. Snow Clone is his signature ally, 2-cost ally. Cannot have upgrades attached. Snow Clone takes -1 consequential damage after it attacks an enemy with the Frostbite attached, which can be really good. And then Ice Slide's 2-cost upgrade. Iceman gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, +1 defense, which is just good, right? It becomes a 2/3/3 hero and gains the aerial trait. Like a little weird for ice slime, but sure, whatever. After you change to alter ego form, shuffle this card in your deck. A lot of people are like, oh, you're only gonna be able to like use this card for a little bit. Just don't go to alter ego. That's the secret with that. And then there's Power Belt. So really quick, of course, Iceman could do more than just freeze. They talk about all the other things he could do, generate that. He can generate snow clones. They mentioned this as card 3. And there's 1 here, so that's just important to note, because generally speaking, right, it's, well, no, they don't even line up with that. They used to line up, I thought. No, they're all 1 off. I don't know why. Whatever, doesn't matter. I remember this lining up back in the day, but maybe not anymore. So they talk about all the different things. Ice Slide, right, to get the benefits. All right, so he's got a lot of upgrades, a lot of stuff going on, and then it goes into his aggression stuff, which we'll do in 1 second. But the quick thing to note is that we might as well count up the cards, right? Because this is what we always do. Their website's the worst. So there is going to be 6 Frostbites that you're able to play. So that's going to be the max of what you're going to be able to play. Assuming they're all the same. I assume they are. I don't know why they wouldn't be, but there's 6 of them. All right, so we have a 6, we have an 8, we have a 9, we have an 11, we have a 4, we have a 1, a 5, a 3. Okay, so we have a 3. So that means Snow Clone is most likely going to be 1 and 2. If they made a comment about how there's multiples of them, right? You can now generate Snow Clones. So I think it's safe to say that 1 and 2 is going to be Snow Clones. 3 is your Power Belt. 4 is your Cryptic Perception thing. 5 is your Ice Slide. 6 we saw, right? 6 is Frozen Solid. If it's max 1 per enemy, I'm going to assume 7 is as well. Then 8 is going to be Ice Wall. 9 is an Arctic Attack. I'm going to assume there's 2 of them. So that's 9, 10 is our Arctic Attack. 11 is going to be Ice Blast. And then that's all we know, right? Is 11. I'm going to also assume 12 will be Arctic Blast as well. And that leaves 13, 14, right? That leaves like 2 we don't know. Hopefully they're thwart cards. I don't know what else. Or maybe there's one of these Ice Blasts, 1 defense card, and 2 thwart cards. It seems like they showed all the upgrades and stuff. So we don't know. But 2 to 3 cards we probably don't know at this point. Speaking of heat, Iceman's pre-built deck is packing some serious firepower on its own. Shark Girl can increase her attack when chomping away an enemy with upgrades attached. So Shark Girl is a 2022 stat line. While Shark Girl is attacking an enemy, she gets +1 attack for each upgrade attached to that enemy, which is pretty sweet. So for example, Frostbite is one of those attachments, but so is Suppressing Fire. 0 cost upgrade attached to a minion, 1 per minion. When your hero attacks and defeats attached minion, heal 2 damage from your hero. Always great to see. Another way to heal on aggression. Aggression's getting some love, and I'm here for it. It is a tactic card, which a lot of people brought up with like Cyclops likes tactic cards generally, right? You can discard them, put them back in your hand. Cyclops also wants to do his whole laser beam thing with an enemy with an upgrade attached. There's an upgrade attached, right? So a lot of people are talking about how Cyclops is getting some love with this, which is very Caleb Grace. I mean, he does do a really good job of pulling a cycle together and working well together. So I think that's pretty cool. While Iceman himself can utilize a surprise move. It's a 1 cost event and again, it's a tactic, but yeah, I guess that would help Cyclops, right? Because Cyclops still wants that. So when you make a basic attack against an enemy with an upgrade attached, you get +2 for that attack. If that attack defeats that enemy, ready your hero, which is pretty cool. And then, which I know some people were talking a bit about that card for Valkyrie, that it's a way to ready up Valkyrie, but like she would already ready up if the Death Glow attachment was on, right? So if Death Glow is on, when attached enemy is defeated, set this card aside out of play. If Valkyrie defeated the enemy, ready her, right? So it's a way to get like a little bit more power, I guess, when you make a basic attack. So if you're swinging 4 with Death Glow, now you swing 6. You would ready up anyway, but maybe it's like an easy way to get like an extra attack. I don't really know. But a couple people I saw were talking about this on Reddit that like, oh, this is a great card for Valkyrie, and like, it doesn't really matter for her in that sense. To wall up an enemy and ready himself for more, use Looking for Trouble to remove a bit of threat from the main scheme, then thwart the player, thwart the player's side scheme, keep up the pressure. So Looking for Trouble, 0 cost event, discard cards on top of your encounter deck until you discard a minion. Put that minion into play, engage with you, move 3 threat from the scheme. We've seen this card before. This is not a new card. Keep up the pressure. 2 on here, which is nice. Each player may search their deck and discard pile for an attack event and add it to your hand. Until the end of the phase, each attack event deals 1 additional damage. Now, this is actually pretty cool, and this does kind of help Valkyrie. So, of course, I'm always looking at Valkyrie, but a lot of times you want to get those high attack cards back in your hand with Valkyrie. This is an easy way, really with anyone, to get that attack quickly back into your hand, which is really cool to see. And also, I have to relook at the aggression cards, but this like looks paler. All right, here we go. So keep them busy, right? Solid red. I don't know why. I mean, I assume it's just like a loading error or whatever designer, but it'd be interesting to see if this card is actually like slightly lighter or not. That'd be really weird. I don't know. Just weird things you notice, I guess. So the other one they mentioned is the Take That and Bring the Villain to Their Knees, which is kind of an interesting card. It's a 3 cost event attack. It deals 7 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached to it, which is kind of cool too, because again, if you're using Suppressing Fire, which this would be good for Valkyrie if you want to put that on, but it allows her to put that upgrade on, right? So you would put Suppressing Fire onto somebody, attach it to it is a minion, but whatever. But you can attach it to a minion and deal 7 damage to the enemy. You'd be able to heal up as well. So that's pretty nice. I'm hoping some nice things you can do with this, but also Take That works with Valkyrie, right? So this is a 1 cost upgrade. You attach it to an enemy. So this gives her the ability of another damage card. And again, some people were calling this out too. Like, this isn't me thinking of this, but I saw this on Reddit that people were like, oh, this is great for Valkyrie. Absolutely is. Not so much the other card, which I saw some people talking about, but the Take That card does work well. Now, it's not 3 for 8, which is what you normally want, but anything that helps you get more damage cards out there, because that's what I want to be doing with Valkyrie, is just swinging nonstop. So I'm pretty excited for that card. All right, now we have Sauron Lives. As we mentioned earlier, the Iceman Hero Pack also includes a brand new modular set. This set features Sauron, a terrifying member of the Brotherhood, which I didn't know there was a Sauron outside of Lord of the Rings. So, interesting. 2/6 stat line, search the encounter deck and discard pile for life drain attachment and reveal it. Life Drain attached to a minion with the highest printed hit points and activates against you. If no minion activated this way, this card gains Surge. Cool. Oh, wait. Did we not read the rest of that? Oh, when attached enemy attacks, you take 2 damage and give the attacking enemy a tough status, right? Rough card. Should read the whole card, I guess. All right, the Eye of Sauron, which just really feels blatantly stealing from Lord of the Rings, but okay. Discard the top 2 cards of your deck, top 3 instead if Sauron is in play. For each resource discard's way, do the following. You can place 1 threat in the main scheme, discard 1 card from your hand, deal 1 damage to identity, or an exhausted character you control. Then they also have Sauron Lives. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches the encounter deck and discard pile for Sauron and deals him as a face-down encounter card. Okay, and then, it goes back to Bobby Drake, which is fine. So it goes another modular set, which is pretty interesting. And they talk about how they are going to be coming out in May, and we're going to talk about that in a little second too. But I will say is, so Bobby is going to come with his 15 cards, right? He's going to come in with the 6 side cards, and then this modular set is another 6. I'm going to guess he doesn't come with any extra cards then. Like, I feel like 12 cards kind of takes out most of like the aspect cards and basic cards. Like maybe there's like because usually, right, they have these aspect cards and then they have like a couple justice and a couple leadership and a couple protection and like whatever. I'm going to guess they don't have that. Maybe they have a few basic ones and that's it, but that'll be interesting to see with this. All right, so really quick to note, this is going to be a side note, and maybe this is the thing we talk about more in the future. I don't really know. But I personally do think they're going to slow down the release schedule for Marvel Champions. And I think that's a good thing. They were pumping out a lot of content recently, and I think it's good for them to slow down, kind of get a good rhythm and good pace, make sure everything's balanced properly, all that fun stuff. So I think with this being released in May, but the main box comes out in March. This hero comes out in May. I'm going to assume we're going to hear about the next hero soon, which is also going to come out in May. And then my next guess would be like June, July would be the following, like the final 2 heroes would come out. It's like July-ish. And then it's got cool for a couple months. And then they do another announcement, which means like I would assume the next big box comes out in like November-ish. And if that's the case, then I think we fall into a pattern slowly where it's like 1 a year. And that's what Arkham does. That's kind of what Lord of the Rings did, right? We're kind of fall in line. So it wouldn't be out of the question. But I know a lot of people are like kind of taken back of this is being released really late. And there were some people saying like, oh, maybe they're going to do all 4 all together. I don't think they're going to do that. That'd be kind of crazy. But my assumption is they're going to slow down the releases slowly, and I think that makes sense. I think that just inherently makes sense. All right, so as far as really quick the aggression stuff, I think it's cool, right? That they're giving. We talked about this on stream over on twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking. We talked about how I always want them to visit old heroes, and it makes sense that Caleb is going back to the X-Men cycle stuff and having cards that interact with those heroes, right? So Cyclops getting some tactic cards, I think is good, right? I think it's good to not just breathe more life into them, but give them more possibilities, right? Cyclops always felt like you just wanted to be leadership with him and that's it. And now I think with aggression, it gives more options, right? I think more options is a better thing. So hopefully they keep doing this with the other heroes as well. That'd be cool to see. I'm hoping they do. Be interested to see what else comes out because we didn't really see that many aggression cards, which, well, no, we probably saw actually most of them. So I think we've seen most of what they would release in this deck, minus a handful of cards. So we'll see what it is. But yeah, so as far as the aggression cards, it's cool. Like, I'm happy they helped Valkyrie. I think they killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I think this is what makes Caleb Gray so good and why I'm so excited for this cycle, is that not only is he able to help out the recent heroes that have come out with, 2 cycles ago now, but it's helping out much older heroes as well. And I think he's always there to help out the fans with that stuff. That's why I always look forward to a Caleb Grace design in general. Now, as far as Iceman, I see a lot of people really pumped and psyched for him. And the thing is, for me, you have to understand, like, I didn't really grow up with the X-Men, so I don't have like this attachment. I think a lot of people are really excited because that's their guy, right? And that's totally cool if it is. But I don't have that attachment to him. So for me, what I see is an interesting hook, right? It's definitely an interesting hook with adding the attachments on and stuff. Like, I like that idea. I think that's a pretty cool idea. I think you could do some cool things with it. The fact that he kind of has a ready up built in, it's not a guaranteed ready up, but he can do it, right? So that's kind of huge. With what card is it? I already forgot what it is. Not the Frozen Solid card, but the Perception card, right? So after you do this exhausted card, draw 1 card. It's nice that it's not like draw a card, and if it's not an ice card, put it back, right? It's nice that you get the card regardless, and if it's an ice card, it benefits you more, right? So I'm kind of liking this design choice because in the past we've seen it before where like you look at the top card and if it's this you get it, if it's not you shuffle it back in or something like that, or you just don't get it or whatever. It's a way to help the player without punishing them. Like it's slightly helpful and more helpful, I guess. It's a nice way to design. Now, do I want everything from here on out to be like that? Not really. But I think slightly helpful and more helpful is like a nice, interesting design in general. I think a lot of people I saw were talking about power creep on this. I don't see power creep issues with this. Honestly, the first thing that I noticed with this is the cost of Iceman stuff. A lot of people complained about Phoenix's costs in general, and Phoenix is expensive. And this, to me, this kit is very similar so far. I don't think it's exactly the same. I haven't ran the numbers. We don't fully know everything, but assuming there are 2 frozen solids, which I think there is, that would be a 3 card, a 3 card, a 4 card, okay, a 2, maybe another 2, a 3, okay, a 2, a 2, a 2, a 2. And then, yeah, you get one as a right resource generator for the other ice card, but like his big cards, like that's expensive. Once you get 4 cost cards in there, it's expensive. It's just, I see a lot of expensive cards. I see the cost curve being really high. Now, we don't know what the other like 3, maybe 4 cards are, right? So they might be very cheap cards for threat removal. I don't know, and that brings his overall cost down. It's possible. But the only thing I see with that then is that you're going to want to get, well, one, you're going to want Ice Slide in there, in my opinion, but you're going to want Power Belt, right? That's the card I'm probably going to hard mulligan for. Get that 3 extra hit points, brings up to a 14 health hero, which is really strong. But the fact that you can generate a wild resource is really, really nice. Now, again, you can only do it for ice cards, and you can play team building exercise to reduce the cost of everything. Just everything else is kind of expensive unless you run another resource generator. So he's it's interesting with him because it feels like he's kind of a build out hero, right? Because we haven't seen a ton of events. It's very build out, very upgrade support heavy. And you have the resource generator there, but for his cards, and there's not other ice cards that I really know of that exist. Maybe there are, maybe there's a few. So you don't really see a lot of other things besides using the resource generator for his cards. You're still going to need your doubles and whatever resource generators for whatever aspect you're in depending on what you do. So Power Belt, I see as like a card you're going to want to get. Ice Slide is a bonkers good card. Again, I saw people being like, oh, it's balanced because you just, when you change the alter ego form. As somebody who's the president of not flipping down club, I guess, whatever, we got to figure out a better name. But as somebody who's the president of that, like, I don't, like, that card just seems bonkers strong to me. Like a +1/+1/+1 stat line with aerial trait on 2 costs. Like in the past, we've spent 2 to just get one of those stats, right? Or spent 1 for thwart, 1 for attack, 1 for defense, right? So just don't flip down. Welcome to how I play the game, I guess. So anyway, as far as like power curve, I don't see him being super powerful, to be completely honest. Again, he has a lot of superpower cards, so you can use Death Focus as well to bring the cost down. So that's what I mean. I feel like he's a lot of build out without flipping down, which is interesting. A lot of times I see people do build out, they flip down constantly, which you can do as long as you don't have the Ice Slide in. So you can do that if you want, just save Ice Slide. But it's a very interesting way of doing build out that you don't want to flip down, essentially. And I like it. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I like the idea of the upgrades that you're putting in after you attack and if you ready up and stuff. And if you do this with a protection where it lets you ready up over and over, it can be pretty cool stuff, right? It can be pretty neat stuff. So again, as far as what his gimmick is, like his trick and his thing, I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. I think it's unique. I like it. I like that it's not super powerful, but I like that if you ready up, you can get the frostbite out there multiple times. The -1/-1 thing is cool because it's a way to get around kind of steady and stalwart villains, because even though it won't stop them, right, it'll slow them down a little bit, especially if you can get 2 of those on there. So I like that. As far as power goes, again, I'm never a great judge until I actually play the hero. I don't see this as being super powerful. I see this being good, right? He's not going to be weak. But I see this like properly in line, in my opinion. Like this is proper goodness, if that's a way of phrasing that. But it seems correct to me. I think it's the best way to just put it. So I'm kind of excited for it. Again, I'm not like an Iceman fan, But I think this kit, I think it's doing some cool things. I think its power level is going to be appropriate for the game. We'll see how hard Age of Apocalypse is. Hopefully, it's a bit harder. But I think I think it seems cool. His biggest weakness, obviously, is thwarting, because you're not going to want to thwart with him because you can't do the whole frostbite thing. And we don't know his threat cards if he has any. His signature ally doesn't do any threat reduction. So we'll have to see what it is, or you just sacrifice frostbite to do some thwarting stuff. So you're going to kind of rely on aspect cards to remove threat, I assume, which is fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but that's definitely his weak link, is the thwarting side of things, which again is nice that right out of the gate we can see a weakness to the hero, that he's not perfect and, you know, whatever, bonkers good. And again, I think the cost is a little high. When you build out, obviously the cost goes down, but you don't always have the opportunity to build out an expert villain. So anyway, I'm excited for Iceman. I think it'll be cool. I'm properly hyped. I think Caleb has, so far from what I've seen, has done a good job with this, and it brings something new to the table. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm always interested to read them. If you haven't hit the like button and subscribe yet, please do subscribe, turn on notifications. All this stuff really helps out the channel. I'll see you all next time.